Hello and welcome, everybody. My screen name is Covert Muffin, and we're going to be bringing the next match here for the Ori Randomizer Singles Tournament. We're currently in Swiss, and it's round 2, and it's the 0-1 match between GreeZ versus Lack. Join with me is none other than Grimelius. Grim, what's up, dude?
Yo, what's up?
Not too much. I'm really excited for
intro.
this match. Oh, good. I am actually looking forward to this matchup. We could see a potentially close race here.
We could. It's one of the great things about Rando. In something like the All Skills tournament with a more, traditional preset speedrun, you can still get upsets, but they're much more rare. You have to be very, very close in times to have the potential for an upset. In Rando, that's not really true. I mean, we've seen probably the majority of these matches be maybe quite a bit closer than people expected, and especially for a match like this, GreeZ and Lack, it almost becomes redundant to say, but it could go either way.
Yeah, for sure. If both of the runners are able to sort of find all the crucial pickups, it's really about when they end up finding them and when they can actually start pushing for all of those skill tree activations that they need. And so we've seen actually a lot of matches so far in the tournament come down to the final escape, from having to dig for Sunstone or Water Vein, or just like missing that one crucial skill that the other person found from an offhanded pickup.
Yeah, dude. To give slightly more detail, just for anyone curious, as we said, or as Muffin said, this is an 0-1 match. GreeZ lost the first round match against Rainbow Kugel, whereas Lack lost against Richard. So both very respectable opponents to take a loss against. GreeZ also sent us a bit of information before this, Muffin, if you want to quickly sort of showcase what he told us.
Yeah, sure. So GreeZ shot us a post, and he was mentioning that he was kind of disappointed with his overall performance in his last seed, but he was actually still feeling confident overall in the randomizer. With his doubles teammate, he was actually able to pull a win in his first round match for the doubles tournament, which was very exciting. And so he's going to be hoping to be able to fall back into his stride and work through the seed and find go modes as soon as possible to be able to push tree. So that's really great that he's looking to improve on his previous performance. Always good to see.
That's the dream, getting that early go mode and hopefully not missing one dumb thing preventing you from go mode.
Yeah, for sure. There's a logic in place for the randomizer, but it can be pretty tricky to follow along, as well as the logic can be really trolly by saying, I'm going to put this one offhanded pickup, which is going to allow me to place the skill in a really awkward position. But that being said, it looks like our runners are underway. GreeZ is going to be on the left, and Lack is going to be on the right.
Muffin, I have one question for you.
All right.
What's the first pickup, and why is it a keystone?
Well, I was thinking of a key, but I was thinking more of a dungeon key. We're gonna see Doom on Seal. Come on, man.
Nope,
oh no, it was a keystone.
Let's just say we were both half right and just carry on.
Yeah, we'll cut it there. But this is going to get our runners a high probability of being able to get access to left glades, which is a nice area, isn't it, Grim?
It is. The early game of Rando is not always, but often pretty nice because it can be pretty linear. I mean, the challenge of playing a randomizer efficiently, like in a speedrun sort of mode, is not only execution with a very varied set of skills, but trying to route on the fly. In the early game, there usually isn't much routing to be done. I mean, you get these two pickups and you go get the other two pickups, and so far we haven't gotten anything that will be progression, although that'll likely be two keystones.
Yeah, for sure. They're also getting an early map zone, so another really trolly thing the seed could do is give them something like Grotto TP or Swamp TP and expect them to turn in that map zone for progression itself. That is something common that can end up happening, and then if they find any sort of verticality or wall interaction, that could really open the right side of the map up early, and that is definitely, I don't think, what either of the runners want to see, but would make for a very entertaining match for us as commentators.
It is. It is. We have seen a number of swamp TPs. There's clean water. That's unexpected. What does that open up so far?
So the nice thing is that the seed doesn't really expect us to damage boost in any like poison water sections except for one. Oh, and a swamp teleporter pickup. Wow, very interesting. But there are two pickups right here that we're going to see both of our runners be able to check with this clean water. One of them is this dubbed Big Flippers, which is just a keystone, so they have access to the left side if they want to go to that. But Lack taking a bit of a death and bash. Wow, what a first skill to find, Grim.
It is. I like GreeZ's decision to. Well, I like both of their decisions to make a save, because even though we aren't going to take poison water damage, it's still Pretty spooky, only having 3 health. I also like GreeZ's decision to alt R rather than trying to swim back out, maybe just playing a little bit safe. And it is interesting, we already see a split.
Yeah, this is kind of a power play coming from GreeZ. There aren't very many pickups that are in Swamp right now that are at his disposal, but he gets that Mapstone turn in down there in the Hologrove Mapstone, and then he can use actually Bash to be able to get up and check the Iceless pickup, as well as a couple of other with Clean Water and such.
Yeah, this is, as with many rando decisions, it's hard to say whether a decision is objectively good or objectively bad. This is unusual. I think I'd feel safe saying it's objectively unusual for GreeZ to go here, given the 2 keystones, but maybe it pays off.
Yeah, and here we go. We're going to see the Mapstone turn in on the right from Black. He's going to be the first to put it in. Oh, just skipping the pedestal for now. But coming back over, and he's going to only get 4 experience.
That's 3 more than you could get, but still not that valuable.
Yeah, wow, the immediate alt-R from GreeZ. He was just looking to turn in on that Mapstone pedestal and maybe hope to find a Mapstone on the left-hand side to be able to get Map 2. Of course, we know this as commentators, but GreeZ doesn't quite have this information yet because he can't watch us.
Right, I will be very curious to look at the right screen. Lack is currently exploring. The runners have a lot of different names for this area. Without wall interaction, we can't get up very high. But I was curious to see if we were going to get some additional Mapstones. Did Lack get a Mapstone on his path over there, or is that one Mapstone he has the same one that GreeZ turned in his Swamp?
Yeah, so Lack got an extra Mapstone, so
okay,
he could turn in this one, yeah.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Is GreeZ going to be able to hit Mapstone, well, 2 in his case?
Yeah, he definitely will, because I think the Keystone actually by the map pedestal ended up being that extra one, so that would be actually a really, really nice efficient play for GreeZ, but Lack is the first one to reach his first tree. Once he gets 2 more, he's going to end up getting a clue. And ooh, look at this. Spear Caverns is actually open in on Logic. So GreeZ could actually make the play for the lure here with the Frankie. Decides not to do that. That's okay.
I wonder if that's where Lack is off to right now, because we still haven't found wall interaction. Lack hasn't taken that Swamp Teleporter yet, which GreeZ has, so some of that stuff is available to him. But with Bash at our disposal, you can bait the Frankie off to the right as if you're doing Frankie Walk to get to 1 experience orb, or you can take it into Spirit Caverns and get a handful more than that. So statistically, Spirit Caverns is the correct play. I wonder who's going to go there first.
Yeah, ooh, and we actually slightly missed this, but Lack actually missed the Bash pickup right at the start, maybe dying a few times to the fish and decided not to go for the long swim. So GreeZ having that earlier Bash is going to be able to check these pickups in Glades, just waiting for the slime so he can easily get up there, and then he's going to bash off of these brambles in order to come up to this keystone. Let's see if he actually knows about the rock. There's this one rock over here on the left that you can actually use bash of. Yeah, he does.
God, I forget that this is a thing. It looks so bizarre because it is so bizarre. I love it though.
Yeah, I love it.
Also, nice mega health pickup from GreeZ. It's not required, but I mean, we are still pretty low health. I mean, Lack, you can see, still at a maximum of 3, which GreeZ is as well, but with the mega health, he has a bit of a buffer. He is able to, more importantly, check a number of these pickups that Lack had to skip. And even though they didn't pay off heavily right now, that's knowledge that Lack doesn't have. And so that's still advantage to MrGreeZ.
Yeah, for sure. And so GreeZ is going to be coming over here into Wall Jump Tree and is not going to find any sort of wall interaction or progression over here. So if you were either of these players, Grims, what sort of areas are you sort of thinking now at the top of your head?
Spirit Caverns. Spirit Caverns is number 1. The alternative is, have we seen either runner do that Frankie Walk pickup yet?
I don't believe so. I have not caught that myself.
Yeah, the Frankie Walk pickup isn't bad, but it is a little bit time consuming for 1 pickup. Lack did take a death, but intelligently made a safety save, so he's doing okay. Mitigated his time loss.
Yeah, this jump can be really tricky with this slime here. If he just, oh man, yeah, you can actually bash off that slime to get up there a little bit more easily, but it is pretty tricky. And GreeZ is now making that play for the Frankie Walk pickup.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward. Ordinarily for Frankie Walk, you bait this Frankie as always, but without wall interaction, you actually have to bash off him, 1 more time just to get over that lip. And it's not hard. It's just slightly awkward and it's unfamiliar sometimes. So GreeZ just had trouble with it for just a moment, but now he's through.
Yeah, for sure. And so here we go. On the left-hand side of your screen, we're going to see GreeZ check this pickup, and it is an energy cell. So it looks like Spirit Caverns is looking more and more tempting here to be what is gating progression.
I do hope that both runners remember. It looks like GreeZ is beelining over there, so I'm sure that he remembers. As with many sort of one-offs in the randomizer, it's not hard to get into Spirit Caverns. It's just a sort of a creative usage of skills. If you haven't played a lot of randomizer, you might forget that that's possible. Thankfully, not the case here. Lack with another death, by the way, has been having some issues being low health.
Yeah, this is really brutal. Only having a max health with 3 HP can make progressing around the map very, very tricky and difficult. But GreeZ now making the play for Spirit Caverns, so it's almost certainly going to be in here. There is also the swamp, the Hollow Grove swim as well, that long swim there, because
You're
they
right.
have clean water. So we're gonna see if somebody makes the play over there. One more pickup for GreeZ. All right, it looks like it's probably the swim.
Yeah, I was gonna say GreeZ can get up here, but this is not in logic. You can double bash it and get up top, but it's at least I think you can. Maybe you can't get up past it.
Yeah, you can. You can make it all the way up and check all the pickups up here. It's just a little bit tricky, but Lack also seeming to caught on that Spirit Caverns isn't in logic, so that's really good for him, because I think Lack is still relatively new to the randomizer in general, and this is not a normal play that you would have to make.
One could say that it's not a normal playthrough of the video game.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it looks like GreeZ has caught on. I mean, this is an unusual seed. It's not like particularly mean. It's not particularly awful. It's kind of mean. Sorry, I want to interrupt myself. Lack took a death. That one is much more costly. His last save was next to Spirit Caverns. He's even opening up his map to check, but of course, without the appropriate abilities, the map isn't actually going to be too helpful as far as showing pickups. It'll just be a reminder for areas.
All right, yeah, and Lack also knows that he ended up missing that stomp pickup in the Hollow Grove because he took a few deaths there and decided to just come back to it later if that was progression. That looks like actually what GreeZ is going to be doing first here for a play. So we're going to see if this ends up being progression or if you're going to have to do the long swim.
Is this something that Lack backed out of? Because Lack was here, wasn't he?
Yeah, he ended up backing out of because he took a few deaths because he was only on 1 health, trying to get past the slime.
Yeah, that Baneling shot unfortunately hit the fiery slime rather than being close enough to break the floor. Thankfully, it respawns quite quickly, and so GreeZ can bait it again. It pretty much has to be this or the swim.
Right, yeah, for sure. And, oh, it's a keystone. All right. So it looks like they might have to do the swim.
That's rough. GreeZ had to ult R because you can't make it out of that little pit where the health cell is. It's such a mundane problem to have. Check out Lack on the right, though. Nice safety save.
Yeah, this is it. So I'm pretty sure progression has to be here. And it's grenade! It's a bash grenade seed. Oh no.
That's fascinating, actually. Bash grenade is going to open up a lot. Grenade plus bash, the combination of the two, is going to allow for a lot more verticality and also allows to break blue plants, of which there are like 2 immediately to the right of Lack's position.
Yeah, for sure. So this is also going to get our runners the much needed verticality to make use of that swamp teleporter to open the entire right side of the map. So this is going to be a little bit crazy. Luckily, I believe both of the runners are controller runners, so the really awful aiming mechanics that they have to deal with are going to sort of cancel each other out with both of them.
Right, neither person is more disadvantaged than the other. Lack is just trying to set up this shot. He intentionally killed the spider so that the auto-targeting system wouldn't take over and sort of mess up his day. That might make it not quite high enough.
Oh, it's so close. Yeah, he's got it, though. He knows the setup. But GreeZ with some double bashes here on the spider shot to come up here for the pickup. And it's an energy cell, but I don't believe GreeZ has done the swim yet to check that grenade pickup. So we're going to see how long he's going to spend checking some pickups around here before doing this one.
I hope he remembers. He should remember. It's right there, but like, and I think you'll agree with me when I say this. Okay, he's fine. This particular swim underwater is, like, it comes up infrequently enough that you can kind of forget it exists sometimes.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is... I remember the first time I had a seed like this, Clean Water Swamp TP, and it was just like, I was convinced I had soft locked the seed because I didn't know that swim could be a thing, but here we go.
This is tough. This is tough on both sides. GreeZ decided to ult R back to Glades, and he's going to check. Well, never mind. He's back in Code, so he'll be back in Glades in just a minute. Is going to decide to check some of the grenade pickups near spawn. At this point with Bash Grenade, where do you think you would go, Muffin? Like, what are our options at this point?
So we could get a really easy access to Charge Flame Tree to be able to get closer to that clue and then just head immediately to Blackroot Burrows. And then hopefully Blackroot Burrows can be tricky without any wall interaction, but having Bash Grenade is going to help a little bit with that. But we see Lack making the play for Sea Flame Tree. I like this. Pretty easy to access, and you end up just getting 3 pickups pretty quickly.
That's right. Plus, I mean, once we go here and we go to Blackroot, we'll get that clue, which may or may not be valuable immediately, but we'll see if it is. GreeZ, meanwhile, checking the grenade pickup near spawn, and it is, well, to Mapstone. That could be nice.
Yeah, that could be it, because I do believe with Bash Grenade, the Boulder Escape actually comes into logic in Blackroot Burrows, so there could be something that is Mapstone gated, like wall interaction.
To that end, well, no, GreeZ had an early advantage in checking 2 Mapstones, but now Lack has done the same. Lack on the right has activated his Charge Flame Tree. I'm guessing that's where GreeZ is headed right now as well. Yeah, and I don't think we got anything too valuable from it, except for the fact that you have to activate the tree at some point anyway, so that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, here we go. We're going to see GreeZ tracing in the steps, and then Lack is going to be making his next play. I'm guessing he's going to check some of these pickups that he actually ended up missing in Glades. Actually still skipping over that ability cell that's by the 4th health cell from All Skills. But yeah, he's going to be heading into Spirit Caverns next with Bash Grenade, and so he's going to be able to clear out all of this a lot easier than if you only had Bash and no wall interaction. So Lack just making sure that he didn't get randoed here from a potential important pickup in here.
This is, I think, a very reasonable play. I might even make the same play. In a seed that is this starved, you know, now that we have Bash Grenade, it's much more open, but it's still pretty starved. It does make sense to be quite thorough.
Yeah, so speaking of starved, what sort of skills are these runners looking for? Like, wall interaction, definitely, but what else might help them with this Bash Grenade scenario?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you took the words out of my mouth. Wall interaction would be very nice, but it actually wouldn't open up a huge amount. I think at this point they're looking for, well, there's the Valley TP. That could matter, actually.
Yeah, that's actually a really nice pickup, because I think it's only wall interaction and Bash gets you over to the rocks to be able to get the glide tree. So that's definitely going to be a really nice pickup. And they could always go for fast Dauntless.
I think if I'm these runners, the place where I want to get to is just better access to the right side. I want to get over to Grotto. I want wall jump and double jump, or else the Grotto teleporter. Just get me access to more stuff. Stop making me altar and go to swamp 100 times.
Yeah, I really like that point about double jump too. Like, just having that extra little retention while being in the air is so insanely helpful with being able to progress through the map. And then it does also act as pseudo wall interaction, so we don't necessarily need wall jump or climb, but it's also just a very, very nice utility skill, especially with Bash Grenade.
Now let's check in with GreeZ on the left. Lack found another mapstone, so that's cool. GreeZ is heading into Blackroot Burrows. This is an area that we have to go to one way or the other because it is the home of the dash tree. Otherwise, it's also home to a few pickups, not too many of them, and getting these pickups without wall interaction can be a little bit thorny. You have to use some nice bash grenades to get through.
Yeah, there we go. Energy regen for the first one. Also, having grenade is nice because we don't actually have to wait for the orb to catch back up with us up top. We can just throw a grenade up there and open the door over the right side of Upper BRB.
Muffin, something happened on Lack's side that I think we both missed, and it's important. It involves a key, and it involves a dungeon, which is a big tree.
Oh,
Lack
man, is that Forlorn?
The water vein at the Iceless plant.
Oh, yo, that's really, really nice, actually, especially with Bash Grenade. With Bash alone, you can actually check a ton of pickups in Ginso Tree. And once you kind of hit that keystone area, right before the first 4-key door, that actually allows you to get a really high density of pickups. And then, especially immediately after Bash Tree is going to have a high density as well. But yeah, there we go. It was actually just the plant right next to the Mapstone pedestal in Hollow Grove.
I will say so far, all other factors aside, Lack has taken quite a number of deaths, and that's probably put him behind. I mean, Lack right now has the water vein and GreeZ doesn't. It is possible that GreeZ will miss that for a while, but that's a pretty easy pickup to come back to, especially if GreeZ ends up using Bash Grenade to enter Grotto like Lack just did. So I wouldn't expect that to be too impactful, in the long term.
Yeah,
finding the water vein, I mean.
Yeah, only having like 3 health and expected to work through the mid game Ooh, activating the lasers there also on Lack, so that could be a kind of a tricky situation to have to deal with for the rest of the seed, but that's okay. He's just going to be heading over to Swamp now, and maybe checking some pickups in here, and maybe even doing Swamp entry, but that's going to be really tricky without any wall interaction.
I do want to point out, we mentioned this briefly before, but this is a Bash Grenade seed, and Lack is playing on controller, so I don't say this to sound sympathetic as a fellow controller player, but just we do see Lack having some trouble. Can you briefly explain why Bash Grenade is tricky on controller?
Yeah, for sure. So for controller specifically, you actually have to end up aiming with the analog stick. So you start with the grenade bind, and then you have to wait for the point where the game is aiming to sort of get to that point. So you start pushing the analog stick, and it accelerates in that direction. So it's very difficult to align a very specific point that you actually want to throw the grenade, and then it also takes some extra time. Whereas on keyboard and mouse, you can just have your cursor in a spot, wait for a split second, and then the game just automatically just brings you over to that point. So it's a lot more forgiving, and then it's also a lot easier to aim for a specific spot.
Yeah, it's something that, again, I can say this as a controller player, playing Bash Grenade seeds just takes a lot of time and practice to learn how to quickly do everything without having to waste too much time aiming. You're always going to waste a small amount of time, but with practice you can mitigate that. It does seem like Lack is unfortunately probably bleeding bits of time all over the place to MrGreeZ, which is completely understandable, but is not going to be helpful to him this seed.
Yeah, major shoutouts to MrGreeZ too for this, because just being proficient not only with this skill set, but then also with being able to work through without wall interaction. It's just been a real treat to watch so far. So really good play from him. And charge jump from Lack on the right, that is going to be a huge pickup for him, isn't it, Grim?
It is. At this point, I'm wondering, Muffin, when we're going to head into the Ginso tree. I mean, Lack has... Okay, good job getting out of there. Lack has a number of options. Lack hasn't been to Lackedragon Burrows yet, whereas MrGreeZ has. Also could potentially head all the way over to double jump since Grotto is now in Logic. But with the Water Vein, going there would not be an unreasonable play either. There's a fair number of pickups in Ginso.
Yeah, I think so, because also the 4 keystones that we see both of our runners toting are going to be really useful for being able to just get through that first key door and make it to Bash Tree. That really unlocks all of that really high density of pickups in the mid and later portions of Ginso Tree. So they definitely could be able to get over and work through that dungeon. And with charge jump too from Lack, he's not going to have to work through those vertical sections with Bash Grenade. He can just charge jump up now.
I was going to say, having charge jump is so nice. Having some wall interaction would be icing on the cake.
Right.
But man, charge jump is such a nice pickup. It's not a replacement for verticality, but it's a much arguably easier form of it. It's also at a location that MrGreeZ may decide to skip because it's not directly along the path to any tree, unless you go up a long way around to Ginso.
Right. And Charge Flame from MrGreeZ, that is definitely not the pickup he wants. Charge Flame is really useful for the final escape and checking some plants that are gated by other skills, where you can just Charge Flame through floors and walls and what have you, but really not going to be too useful for him because he has Grenade already.
Mm-hmm. One other thing we should point out, we didn't, I think, explicitly talk about the clue, unless I'm deaf and you did talk about it.
Oh, no, I didn't.
The clue that we got at tree number 3 is that the Sunstone is in Sorrow Pass, which means that Feather, if either player finds Feather, that's going to be a pretty big get. Of course, Feather isn't required to traverse Sorrow, but it makes it just 1,000 times easier.
Oh, yeah, it really does. And there is one room actually in Ginso, right after the second room, where you have to like go through these spike corridors and what have you that are really brutal on 3 health, and especially without any sort of retention. But oh my goodness, on the right.
Yeah, you saw the same thing I did. Lack is checking, what do you call this? The garbage pickup, the failure pickup?
It's like the long valley swim is usually what we call it, but it's like the worst, one of the worst pickups to go after for sure.
Yeah. My disdain is not targeted at Lack in any way, to be clear.
No.
It's at this pickup. This pickup is far away. With clean water, it's more reasonable, but you need both Grenade and either clean water or a heck of a lot of health to get through, and it takes a long time to get to. But if it pays off, then that's just very, very cool. Unfortunately, only 11 XP this time.
I was really hoping that was going to be something crucial. But yeah, and it's not like a really bad pickup. to go for it. It's a bit of a power play because, as Grim you mentioned, it does take a while to get to you. But with Clean Water and Grenade, it's in the logic and it's entirely reasonable to go after.
Well, and in this seed in particular, like more and more is being opened up with Lack having charge jump, GreeZ having charge flame, but we're still somewhat limited. Still no climb or wall jump for wall interaction. Still no bash. Still no stomp. We have the Valley teleporter, but I mean, with that Sunstone clue, Feather is going to be much more valuable. So
right,
some thoroughness is still warranted, even for some of the pickups that are further away.
Yeah, and look at this now. GreeZ making the play for Valley entrance, but getting up here, he didn't have Hollow Grove TP Grim, so he actually ended up spending those 4 keystones. That could actually come in and be huge later on in the seed, because GreeZ doesn't have Water Vein yet, so I'm guessing keystones really aren't on his mind.
It's not common that you see 2 different runners go to this pickup. I like it, though.
Yeah, this is amazing.
You know, we wanted something interesting as far as the seed is concerned, and this is very interesting.
Yeah, and GreeZ mentioned he didn't want to get randoed, so if he fully expected his opponent to be going for this pickup, this really isn't an unreasonable play by any stretch of the imagination. As we are privy to this information, it does make sense for him to go and check this pickup, because we saw Lack do this just a minute ago.
Mm-hmm. Lack, by the way, to check in with him, has made it like halfway through Blackroot, has to head back in. A nice use of Bash Grenade to get over the slow zone that remains even when you skip the cutscene. Otherwise, just missed that jump. Can he make it out? Oh, God. Okay, Altar to save himself. That may have saved time or it may have lost time, you know, disallowing himself to die versus Altaring. I don't recall where Lack's last save was, but maybe he did.
Yeah. So speaking of like density in terms of areas, we see Lack now catching up on trees to go grab that dash tree by going through Blackroot Burrows. But our runners definitely are looking for something, and we saw Lack go through the swamp area. But GreeZ has been kind of staying away from the right side of the map there, Grim.
Yeah, I was gonna say, GreeZ right now is making the play into Spirit Caverns, which is, it's nice. It's 2 pickups that aren't too far out of the way, but I do really like that Lack was, and actually GreeZ has already been here, excuse me, he's heading back around again. I really like that Lack was thorough going around Swamp. He wasn't fully optimal in his movement due to some, you know, uncomfortability with Bash Grenade, but he did make the checks nonetheless and was rewarded with Charge Jump for his efforts. I wonder when GreeZ is going to head around there, and I wonder when either runner is going to head deeper into Grotto.
Yeah, with the 4 energy and the light grenade tech, I think it is pretty reasonable to check Spider Sack area, but it's kind of like pushing him away from trees. Like if he did find that charge jump pickup, GreeZ might have just opted to just end up going in for Stomp Tree and then working his way down to Moon Grotto to get towards Double Jump Tree. So it'll be interesting to see how this play works out. But if GreeZ does find something like wall interaction or double jump in here, that could be really, really huge.
Yeah, it could. There must be something good in Grotto. Grotto is such a dense area, and so much of it is currently in logic. With Bash Grenade, you have enough verticality that a lot of things are available to you, even if they might not be fully comfortable. And you get blue plant breakage just by extension.
yeah, the blue plant breakage is really, really nice because there are lots of plants in Moon Grotto, actually. Lots and lots of plants. So just having that access and then lower left side Moon Grotto being open is going to be a nice high density of pickups for our runners. But we see GreeZ over here checking this pickup, finds experience for his troubles, and then he's going to be heading into Spider Sack area, while Lack is making the play to come down here and do Boulder Escape.
I do hope that GreeZ finds Charge Jump eventually. Many of these jumps he can make with Bash Grenade, but with Charge Jump, they're just so much faster and easier. We'll see if he decides to go to Grotto first or to go the long way. We talked before about like what our runners might want to see as far as progression. What do you think the best next progression item would be that we haven't seen yet?
You know, besides like wall interaction and something like glider double jump, it's definitely going to be something along the lines of dash. Like just having that horizontal mobility is going to allow them to check a lot of pickups. As Lack finds Charge Flame on the right, which is a pickup GreeZ actually got earlier. It's not going to be too useful, but I would just really love to see a dash pickup come in early in the seed.
Me too. This is interesting. I believe that we may have seen a bit of a lead switch. It can be hard sometimes to gauge who's in the lead, but I think Lack has checked more now, even though GreeZ is now going to some areas that Lack I believe, has yet to explore. Does that seem correct?
Yeah, I think so. GreeZ is definitely spending a lot of time here, like just checking places that are a little bit further away from trees, which is definitely still a reasonable play because this seed is so starved on Crucial, and it's very, very open. Like the entire right-hand side is open, including the Spider Stack area. But it's so tricky. But wow, Lack is going to make the Ginso play, Grim.
Yeah, he must be making the Ginso play. Sometimes if you see runners come around this path, it means that they're just taking a shortcut. It means that they're just taking a shortcut to the long route of Ginso, but Lack's already done that. So this is the only play. I do like this with both Batch Grenade and Charge Jump. He'll be able to traverse quite a bit of it, even through like the second Keystone room, although I'd be shocked to see him go past it. How's he doing on Keystones, by the way? I think he's okay.
Yeah, I think he's okay. It looks like he might have 5 or more, maybe. Maybe that's a 7. I'm not entirely sure, but he definitely has plenty of keystones to be able to make it through. Yeah, we're getting confirmation that it is 5 keystones.
Now, this is tricky for GreeZ. You actually, unless there's a micro ledge, you can't make this jump out of the pit here. You can.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea you could make that jump. I learned something new today.
All right, there we go.
Did you know you could make that?
I think I might have been able to make it like once, but like with a completely different jump that GreeZ had done. But I just like don't remember. I can't know for sure.
Well, you know, I'm glad GreeZ checked it. It didn't pay off, but that's just one more thing off the mental checklist. It's like, all right, so that wasn't bash, or yeah, bash. That wasn't dash, or whatever it could be.
Yeah, so really important information coming from both screens over here, both on the right and both on the left. Lack is going to be coming up to probably the most difficult room for him right after this, which is going to be getting through this giant spike corridor. And now GreeZ is back in Swamp. Maybe he's going to find that Water Vein pickup. Maybe he's going to find Charge Jump. This could really be a huge turning moment.
This is good. He's going left. To the left for GreeZ is the Water Vein. Oh. To the right, yeah, that's a death for Lack, unfortunately. To finish my thought, to the left for GreeZ is the Water Vein. Looks like he hopefully will be getting it in just a moment. To the right is going to be Charge Jump. He may get... we know he'll get the Water Vein eventually, probably very shortly. He may or may not get Charge Jump.
But yeah, Lack took a pretty significant death there, having to go all the way back to the beginning. And oh man, yeah, without any sort of retention in the air or a wall interaction, getting on those blocks, if you just get hit by one Geem or a spike, it shoves you off of the block. And so very difficult to work through that section.
Now, Muffin, GreeZ checked some of the stuff in that iceless area, but did not go check the plant next to the mapstone, which we know contains the Water Vein.
Oh man.
So that might come back to bite him. GreeZ is going to have to remember that he hasn't checked that plant.
Yeah, but here we go. Looks like he's going to be heading to the right instead. This actually might work out for GreeZ's favor because he's going to find Charge Jump almost immediately if he just keeps heading to the right. So maybe if he had gone Water Vein, he could have been like, oh wait, now I should actually head into Ginso and then just barely miss Charge Jump. But I'm sure he's going to be really happy to find this.
Mm-hmm. Blessing in disguise, I suppose. I'm just really wondering, we keep talking about this, like, where is the progression? At this point, we've seen quite a bit of Swamp, we've seen quite a bit of Glaze, we even have seen, you know, the first 2 pickups in the Ginso tree. There's Charge Jump for GreeZ, so that'll be a welcome find for him. I guess GreeZ, since he doesn't have the Water Vein and therefore won't be tempted to try to go to the Ginso tree, he might continue around into Deep Grotto and the Double Gem tree. That's, I think, what I want to see out of him.
Yeah, I would like that play a lot also, Grim. Being really low on Keystones, too, it only looks like he has 3 Keystones, can just be very, very tricky. Grove TP, GreeZ actually already picked up the whole Grove TP.
Sorry, Lack took another rough death trying to get down to that health cell pickup near the Spider Sack that GreeZ was able to just get with a sort of precise jump. Lack unfortunately died and got sent all the way back to the Grove TP.
Oh man, that's brutal. Yeah, the deaths have not been kind to Lack this seed, and this is kind of what got GreeZ a tiny bit of a lead at the start, was just Lack taking these unfortunate deaths. But now in the mid game also, this is giving Grim room to be able to catch back up. But let's see also GreeZ if he is going to make that play to bring the frog over to end up breaking the floor and get his way into Stomp Tree.
Looks like he's not going to do it right now, which is pretty understandable. Even just traversing Swamp would be, well, not that bad actually, right? Because we have clean water.
Right, yeah, clean water, and then like Bash Grenade or Charge Jump to be able to get up those pillars. But Yeah, it looks like GreeZ now making the play for Grotto. This is like the last high density area, besides just traversing over to the left or going into Ginzo. So GreeZ, yeah, not happy with toggling that cutscene, is just going to backload to try skipping it again, and just barely crossed the trigger. There's a tiny little hole here that GreeZ can actually end up bashing through, but it's pretty tight.
This might be an instance also of GreeZ forgetting that he has charge jump, because you can make this with charge jump, and that would be arguably a bit easier, maybe a bit faster as well. GreeZ is just going to wait that time on his Soul Link and skip the laser spawns with a Rekindle instead.
Yeah, nice patient play here from GreeZ, just saying, you know what, I'm going to wait, and just accidentally forgetting his charge flame to be able to check that plant there. Hopefully that's nothing.
This very much feels like the sort of seed, and I think it's reflected in what we're seeing in the play. You get stuck with Bash Grenade and sort of struggle for as long as they have, searching for the next important skill that you can forget when you get more. So we don't know what that Charge Flame plant is. Maybe it's very valuable. It's not in logic, right, to check it with Charge Flame from the beneath?
I'm not sure. I think it might be, but that is an excellent question that I am not entirely certain of the answer to.
Well, I guess one way or the other, we don't know what it is, so we'll have to see if GreeZ goes back and checks it, or if Lack will check it as well. Here's an instance, by the way, GreeZ currently in the Death Gauntlet. If he doesn't remember that he has Charge Jump, he does. Good.
Yeah, and it looks like...
yeah.
Oh, there's Glide! Okay, that is a really nice pickup to find.
That's going to be very valuable for going to the left side in its own right, but especially valuable in this seed. One, because it's going to allow us to do longer series of bash glides if these runners decide to do that for additional speed, but mostly because we know the Sunstone's in Sorrow, and so getting glide is going to be a very, very important.
Yeah, for sure. But unfortunately, also for Lack on the right, he actually ended up spawning these lasers because he didn't despawn them using the trick that GreeZ actually used. And so he's taking a good number of deaths here just to try and make his way down into Moon Grotto.
Yeah, you can see how annoying it is. Like, GreeZ couldn't quite make it out of this pit with just a charge jump, so he can do it with Bash Grenade. But man, if we just had climb or wall jump, a lot of this mobility would feel so much more fluid.
Wow, and look at that improvisation from Lack, just having gone through those areas. And he does know that you can charge flame that plane. He just doesn't have enough energy right now to be able to do that. So I'm guessing he's going to come back up there.
What a weird seed. Like, when we... Even when the seed gives us skills, it isn't giving us quite enough energy. Lack is even chilling at 3 energy rather than 4. And Wind Restore for GreeZ on the left, by the way, up at the top of what we often call the Glide Vault, which is the 2 energy area in Moon Grotto.
Yeah, so GreeZ is probably going to be really happy with that pickup. It's going to make getting up to Sorrow a lot easier, but still the problem of getting through Sorrow, because they don't have something like Climb yet or Dash, which are really the 2 things they would be looking for, or something as simple as Sorrow TP.
Can we just acknowledge that despite... I still feel like Lack has checked more. That might not be true anymore. It might be about even, but GreeZ is sitting at 14 ability points.
Wow.
So he'll be able to get the Ultra Defense if he wants it. Maybe not immediately. I don't remember the exact numbers, but probably this seed he'll be able to get Ultra Defense.
Yeah, GreeZ has also had this like 4 energy advantage for like most of the seeds, so he's been privy to a few of these 4 energy door pickups as well, whereas Lack has been kind of having to traverse through. But nice glide pickup also from Lack there. He's going to be pretty happy with that most likely.
It is interesting to me that both runners are being as thorough as they are. It means that although GreeZ and Lack have found different skills in different orders, I don't know that either person has gotten randoed yet, right? GreeZ found his charge jump, Lack got his glide. I would not be surprised if Lack checked the glide vault on the way down as well.
Yeah, the Bash Grenade seed really sort of mitigating the importance to a large degree of that earlier charge jump find from Lack, but still, both of them. And there it is! There's Dash! Oh my goodness, Grim, here we go.
Dude, Muffin, I've seen Dash in that particular location several times in recent
Really?
time. Yes, that exact location. I'm sure that's just a fluke of probability, but that's pretty funny.
All right, Dash is really going to up the ante with like a lot of tricks that our runners are going to be bringing to the table, especially on the left-hand side of the map. Having both Bash and Dash are just so insanely important. Like, it makes getting through Misty a lot easier, It makes getting through Sorrow a lot easier, and they have Valley TP, so they could definitely make quick work of that.
Having dash also makes getting to the light grenade tree quite a bit easier.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a way to get down through the floor, which you can do with dash and you can do with bash, but would be easier if we found either stomp or climb. So this is sort of a cocktail of skills. Speaking of skills, there's a good one from MrGreeZ, wall jump.
Wow, so the first form of wall interaction has finally shown its true colors, which is going to be wall jump. I was eagerly hoping for climb, because that would have gotten our runners grenade jumps, which would have made a nice time save in the final escape, and maybe some silly antics as they continue to progress through the seed. But definitely going to be a sigh of relief from MrGreeZ there to find wall jump.
That was amazing. Both Lack and MrGreeZ activated the same map alter for the same total number of map alters at the same time, despite all the variants in this seed. I love it.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was like a 5th health cell for MrGreeZ. I mean, he has a Mega Energy currently active, 6th energy cell, so that's cool. That's very, very cool.
Yeah, so at this point, Grim, our runners have a lot of mobility. MrGreeZ also has the dash. It looks like Lack is going to be finding dash as well, at least, if not also wall jump. So in this point, are you really like going to be looking for something else, or are you just in lumberjack mode to push trees?
I think for me, I'm lumberjack mode, and just for anyone who is clear on what that term means, anyone who's watched, say, The Link to the Past Randomizer knows what go mode means, which means you have everything you need to finish the game, and you just have to do it. Lumberjack mode in Ori is a term that specifically refers to being able to get to every skill tree, even if you don't have all the keys. In this case, well, both runners need the Sunstone, and MrGreeZ still needs to find the Water Vein. But I agree. I think that assuming a certain knowledge of some of the weirder tricks in this game, they are in lumberjack mode.
Yeah, for sure. And ooh, MrGreeZ almost just taking a death there, but nice he's going to get through. And wow, Lack finding dash and then immediately coming over here to also find his wall jump. So it's going to be very interesting to see what decisions our runners are going to be making. And MrGreeZ picking up that tree a little bit ahead of his opponent and also just finding the skills just a little bit quicker. But same sort of cleanup from both of our runners. So nobody's really like in the lead right now or behind, but Lack with that water vein advantage, right? And how long? When is MrGreeZ going to go back to Hollow Grove to check that one plant after already revisiting Hollow Grove to check it out?
I don't know. It's so tricky. Here we see MrGreeZ heading over to Swamp. I like this play a lot, actually, with Charge Flame and also Grenade if we want it. You can break this. You can check a number of pickups. Interestingly, with both Clean Water and Charge Jump, you can enter Swamp either through using Charge Jump to break the roof or swimming through the water, and this is going to get us access to what for MrGreeZ is going to be tree number 5 in the form of Stomp. We'll see if he continues searching underwater. Looks like he's not going to just yet.
Yeah, and you know, I really like this play from MrGreeZ to use the lower route because he had already done a lot of the upper route pickup. So taking that extra time to go to the upper route to get into the swamp would have been the slower play here, and also just not getting as many pickups. So really nice adaptation from MrGreeZ and decision making during the heat of the moment.
I agree. Sort of something else I'm paying attention to. I don't think MrGreeZ has Charge Dash yet, right? He certainly has the ability points to do it, but I don't think he's unlocked it.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, he probably is just still holding on to those. But we still do know Sunstone is in Sorrow, so if our runners are looking for something else, maybe just making the play to go over to Sorrow itself, because that could house double jump or even climb or something else that they might be looking for.
See, this is fascinating to me, Muffin. We've talked already multiple times now about when we are in go mode versus lumberjack mode, versus whatever. MrGreeZ is already starting to skip some pickups. He could have floated up to the top of Swamp and gotten the energy cell. He could have redirected a spider shot or a lizard shot, whatever. Decided not to. Instead, he's going to Valley.
Yeah, I really like this play. What our runners are really looking for pickups right now is information, like finding out where Water Vein and where Water Vein is going to be located for MrGreeZ is definitely on the top of his mind. He already has the Sorrow clue for that Sunstone, so if he's going to see that Hollow Grove clue, maybe this will key him in to be able to go back and check and find it, because he's also cleared out a good amount of Death Gauntlet for Hollow Grove pickups.
Yeah, key him in. That was a good one. That was a good job.
Completely unintentional, but I'll take credit for it.
Don't lie, Muffin. You're a comedic genius. GreeZ on the left is doing his fast stompless. This is currently his only way to break the rocks because he doesn't have stomp, and without the Sunstone, the Wilhelm Frog is not spawned. This trick, as with a handful of things, is more difficult on controller because you can't use a visual cue on your cursor to aim. Hopefully that shot will be good. Looks like it was not.
Ooh, yeah, that shot was quite close. Oh, nice hyperspeed there coming out of the save. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I like what GreeZ is doing here. He's just trying to get that one shot that looks good to him, and he looks pretty happy with that. That might have been a little bit low. Gets far enough away fast enough, so we're going to see if that indeed works. And it did. I was wrong.
The one that looked good gave him Sad Cellus, which of course, it might matter, but it probably doesn't matter in this random seed unless that particular ability cell was, I don't know, double jump or something like that.
Yeah,
Let's just hope it wasn't.
Yeah, like a nice sort of amount of health here for GreeZ and Lack both. Lack looks like he has 7 max health right now, whereas GreeZ is 6. And wow, now Lack is coming over here to Valley as well. So GreeZ finds that water vein clue for the 6-tree clue, which is now Grove. So he does have that information. Digging for a few pickups.
Grove is a potentially tricky clue, though. Of course, we know where the water is, and Lack knows where the water is because he already has it. But Grove is a rather large area. It's like getting Valley as your clue. It's a pretty big place. So I do hope that GreeZ remembers that he hasn't checked the plant. Meanwhile, though, GreeZ is making the play to Sorrow. What do you think about this?
I like this play a lot. He knows he needs to find Sunstone eventually, and maybe he's going to find a few extra pickups. What I would like to see him do is not Kidoob at this door and instead dig in Sorrow a bit before heading to the tree. But no, he's going to make the tree play. This is technically faster if he does end up finding Sunstone at the tree itself, and maybe we'll see him actually throw down a Kidoob to be able to guarantee that he can go through Ginso tree without any problems. No Kidoob.
It's a gamble, as with a lot of things. We know for a fact, because of the clue, that the Sunstone is somewhere in here, and it could be anywhere in Sorrow. We even have grenades, so we have the ability to check everything. GreeZ is effectively gambling, you know what, I have to go to the tree anyway. If the tree is Sunstone, then I've potentially saved myself a bunch of searching, but it's not.
Right, and Lack may be thinking that the Death Plane was there. The Death Plane is actually deactivated in Valley if you don't have Stomp. And just going to be progressing through sort of the normal way to get up to the bird. And we're going to see if he actually ends up going for Fast Stompless. He went over to the left.
Well, he will have to go for Fast Stompless if he wants to break the rocks right now. The alternative is to either keep searching for Stomp, but that could be in a lot of places. The other reasonable option is to go into Sorrow and pretty much do your full search until you find the Sunstone, at which point you can use a projectile from the Wilhelm Frog in order to break it.
Yeah, interesting here. GreeZ is actually not making the play to search through Sorrow to find Sunstone. Instead, I just want to get a tree advantage right here, or a tree vantage, to be able to just say, when I go looking for these last few dungeon keys, I'm not going to have to go back.
Wow. Lack just found the Sunstone. It's the first pickup in Sorrow. That ability cell off in the hidden area to the left.
Oh man, and GreeZ must have just missed that as he was entering that area for the first time. But GreeZ, not quite having enough height to be able to glide over that. Gets sent all the way back to the entrance of Misty. Definitely not a death that GreeZ would want to take in this scenario.
By the way, GreeZ has enough ability points to get Ultra Defense. I think it takes 10 from the point that you have Charge, Dash, and GreeZ has more than that. So maybe he'll decide to grab it.
Interesting. All right.
It's up to him.
Yeah, nice, a higher bash that time, and then using the dash to be able to get enough speed with the glide to be able to head on over. But glide really does make getting through Misty nice, doesn't it, Grim?
Yeah, it's just a breeze to work through. Of course, it's not required. You'd be surprised how far you can get an Ori with a very minimal skill set, but that doesn't always mean it's very fun. nice redirect, by the way, by Lack. Without Stomp, he had to redirect the green frog shot, and he did that with a rather precise angle, so well done by him.
Yeah, nicely done. And wow, Lack only having 5 trees finished right now is definitely going to give that advantage to GreeZ, but Lack has found both of the important dungeon keys to be able to finish out the seed, so having that power and that advantage is going to really, really work for him as we head into the late game of the seed.
Well, I was about to ask you, like, this is a question that we repeat whenever we watch randomizer seeds for good reason. Who is in the lead and why, do you think, right now?
Really depends how quickly GreeZ is going to be able to find Water Vein and Sunstone. Like, I imagine when he heads back to Valley, he's going to check the Valley pickups if he hasn't yet. Because there's 2 at the top of Valley that are actually considered to be inside Sorrow. And then he's going to check that next one for Sunstone, like, almost immediately. But Lack really, really needs to stop digging and just start pushing for trees if he wants to turn this dungeon key advantage into an actual corporal thing.
Yeah, that's the thing, is even if Lack started skipping everything, he still has to hit the Stomp Tree, which GreeZ has already done. He still has to go all the way through the first half of Misty, which GreeZ has already done. I guess they do already both have the Charge Jump Tree. I also didn't see Lack activate Feather. Lack might either not know or have forgotten that with the Sunstone, the Wilhelm Frog spawns and can be used.
Oh yeah, that's a little unfortunate, especially if he actually ends up finding Stomp somewhere, right? Like Stomp could just be inside Ginso Tree, and then the Death Plane could be active, and that could be a little tricky. But both of them going for the Fronkior. GreeZ very close to successfully getting this.
Nice, nice.
Nice, and he gets in there.
Good. The only thing I want to see is like, all right, you got your reverse Fronky Walk. Please drop a save. It's so spooky, and that's exactly what GreeZ did. So he knows what's up.
Yeah, he knows the pain of taking it dead after that.
I do just find it amusing that for all the variants we've had, we saw like GreeZ and Lack activate that Grotto Map Alter at the same time. We saw them doing their reverse Fronky Walk at roughly the same time. That's just sort of a funny coincidence in how the timing worked out.
Yeah, this is pretty incredible. And nice, GreeZ doing the save anywhere to be able to get through. Definitely has plenty of ability points for Alter Defense. We'll see if he ends up picking that up, but just not wanting to spend them quite right now.
He's just gonna hoard him for a bit. Lack has also broken the floor. I want to see a save as well. There it is. Good. You can make a save on that Dudo's head over there. Heading through with dash, we don't need to do any weird tricks to get through the laser like Zombie Ori. Yeah, so pretty much our situation is unchanged. GreeZ definitely has a pretty huge lead as far as trees. Only has to get the Water Vein to finish it out. But of course, GreeZ doesn't have the Water Vein yet. Lack does have both keys, but still has to do a number of trees.
Yeah, here we go. First for GreeZ is going to be the Valley Revisit to try and track down that Sunstone pickup. Going to be using a Rocket Jump here on the Frog. Let's see. He didn't check that pickup out here. Oh, no, yeah, he recognizes that this is indeed part of Sorrow, and then he's just going to Feather back on up, check the next one. This is the exact play that I would do as GreeZ. I really like this. And then he's going to find Sunstone in not too much time, whereas Black still has 3 more trees to be able to close that deficit to his opponent.
Yeah, GreeZ just died. To be honest, it doesn't matter too much because GreeZ only cares about the Sunstone. That pickup to the left, he doesn't need to get it again. It was, I don't even remember. I already forgot because it didn't matter.
Yeah, it was just experience. Yeah, nothing too important. But right after this pickup, the next one he's going to grab is almost certainly going to be Sunstone.
So Water Vein is really what it's going to come down to. Water Vein is potentially going to be much harder to find because Grove is a large area. We could see GreeZ go through Horror Field. He could go back to the Spider Sack area. We'll see. We'll see where he goes first.
Yeah, and so Lack now just making the play to go into Stomp Tree. He's going to check this Mapstone turn, and this, I believe, still could be something. That's Spirit Light Efficiency. That's nice, but they haven't had any shortage of ability going through the Steep Grim.
No, they haven't. We've also gotten a number of Spirit Flame upgrades, which, again, it's not too impactful in this particular case, but it's a very nice early game pickup. I guess we're... Oh, this is good. This is real good.
Yeah, look on the left. Oh, no, don't go Horror Fields, GreeZ. Don't do it.
He's going Horror Fields.
Oh, he's going Horror Fields. Okay.
So I mean, there's logically, and this is something we can check with GreeZ after the fact if he decides to talk to us. There are a few reasons why GreeZ might be doing this. It is Grove, so of course, for all GreeZ knows, it could be the Water Vein, even though we know that it's not. I'm hoping that GreeZ is just making this play based off statistics rather than based on forgetting about that plant.
Yeah, he might actually even think that plant is considered to be inside Moon Grotto, which would be a reasonable assumption because the entrance into Grotto is like right there. But as we know from the plant pickup being Water Vein, that it is considered to be Hollow Grove. All right, yeah, but here we go. GreeZ just took a death, but that's okay. He had a save pretty close by, so he's going to be continuing to check this area, and he does find Stomp. Oh man. Just Stomp in Horror Fields.
That's kind of too little too late. I mean, it's nice, right? I mean, what the heck, we'll take Stomp, but that would have been much more useful earlier. Could have avoided doing that play in the Light Grenade area.
Yeah, for sure. Luckily, his opponent also had to make that play, so not too bad. But Lack now re-entering Ginso Tree, a lot more health, a lot more ability to be able to work through these areas. So that's really nice, and I'm sure he's going to be able to breeze through here. Taking a bit of damage though, he's going to have to be just a little bit careful as he progresses on through.
Let's go through some numbers. Let's do some math together as a group.
Okay.
Lack needs 3 trees. He needs Bash, and he's in the Ginsu tree right now. I hope to see him skip pickups because he doesn't need anything else, although he may decide to check a few things anyway just for more health or something like that. Then he needs to go back over to the Valley Teleporter, activate the Feather, which shouldn't take him very long at all. And he needs to go through Misty Woods. Meanwhile, GreeZ only has to find the Water Vein.
Yeah, that's basically it, and then get up to that Bash tree. So GreeZ right now, it's gonna come down to this. I'm pretty sure that he's gonna come down and stomp his peg and do the swim. But let's see if he just decides to dip over here to the right and check the plant before going down there. This could be a huge play from GreeZ.
The anticipation is killing me.
Oh man.
I think GreeZ might have forgotten about that plant, maybe sort of mentally checked it off his list early on, since if you remember from back earlier in the seed, Swamp Teleporter was one of the first things we got, which means that GreeZ might have already thought, oh, I've checked a bunch of this stuff in Swamp, it's old news, even though in reality it's current news.
Yeah, and I still think GreeZ is in a little bit of a lead here. He's already actually gone through the grand majority of Spider Sack area, and in fact, coming back up here, yeah, just like trying to think of where he is supposed to go right now. So he remembers that he did not check this grenade-gated pickup up here because it would have been really difficult for him to check the first time through. So nice double bashing there, and then he's going to come on over here to check this.
Well, it's kind of something we talked about before. Grove is a big area, as many areas are, but it's, you know, something like Sorrow, there's sort of a logical path that you're pretty much going to see every runner check pickups. So you're going to go in from the bottom and you're going to check the first pickup and then the second pickup, and in this case it was pretty much that first pickup.
Oh! And yeah, you found the Water Vein.
I forgot what I was saying. I'm all excited now.
Yeah, me. I am in the same way right now. GreeZ is going to be very excited to find that pickup, but is that excitement from nerves of, oh my god, I'm in go mode, or is that, oh no, that's been in play for so long, I can't believe I missed that.
Yeah, I do want to point out, this is something that I should have said earlier. Lack is continuing to, well, just backed out, but until that moment was continuing to check pickups past the Bash tree rather than getting Bash and then rushing to the left side to finish out his remaining trees. Snoop pointing out something in our Discord chat, which I agree with. Lack was probably searching for Stomp, either just for comfort and familiarity, or maybe specifically to break these rocks. I don't remember, or I don't know if Lack knows about using the Will.
Yeah, we'll find out shortly. With Climb Charge Jump, that is another alternative method if you don't have Sunstone or Stomp, or don't want to do the Spider Shot manip. But it looks like he's going to come up here and then, yeah, using that Climb Charge Jump to break the rocks. Oh no, he's getting a little trolled by the birds.
See ya, Wilhelm.
Bye, Wilhelm.
See, I don't have sound on the restream right now. I have it muted, so I hope that you all got to hear the wonderful Easter egg.
Yeah, it's so great, the Wilhelm Scream Frog. But yeah, here we go. So, man, that play into Ginso, just for Lack continuing to check on. He does have grenade jumps for the final escape, so he does have that like 35 or 40 second time save with the final grenade jump, but I don't really think that makes up the time it took him to be able to find that climb pickup, as GreeZ now is just going to be checking this tree and then heading to the final escape.
Yeah, I was going to say the only conceivable way that Lack catches up is if he somehow makes it through the entire first half of Misty, which even with Charge Dash, you can only do so quickly. All GreeZ has to do is finish the game. This is probably a victory for GreeZ.
Yeah, here we go. The real story of this match was just GreeZ barely missing that Water Vein check right at the beginning of the seed after finding the grenade pickup, and then progressing on through to find progression. But really, GreeZ's just unwavering effort to be able to push trees after that mid-game search period really paid off for him in the end and got him the time he needed. But oh, Lack takes the 3 damage from the spikes there and takes the death and gets sent all the way back to the Valley Teleporter Grim. Oh, that's so brutal.
Misty Woods is an area where a lot of skills can make it easier. Dash and Feather are 2 of those skills. Double Jump is just a godsend in this area, though, so that you don't just have to sort of float helplessly down into 3 damage spikes all over the place.
Yeah, MrGreeZ has to be a little bit careful here because he's only on 2.5 health and does not have enough energy to save. Because I believe he still has not leveled up Ultra Defense yet, or the half energy saves. But he's going to be progressing into Sorrow for the final escape. And with Clean Water, Bash, and Dash, I'm sure he's going to have a real nice, easy time in this escape.
Yeah, I was going to say, MrGreeZ doesn't need Ultra Defense. He might need it if he didn't have Clean Water, but we got that super early in the seed, so... Let's count door attempts. I'm going to say first try. It's going to be first try.
Yeah, come on, MrGreeZ. You got this, dude. Yeah, look at that. Easy peasy. Nicely done.
What a professional. We could learn some things.
I'm taking notes, man.
I think MrGreeZ was maybe just wanted to make the save and do this. That's fair. Pausing, a few seconds to get ultra defense.
Yeah, I do like that play. Just putting into that, and you could also actually get the Charge Flame Burn, which is the third red ability, and that actually makes destroying one of the walls a little bit easier, or two of them actually, if you decide to go up top in that initial area. And so
I forget about Charge Flame Burn. It's so nice sometimes.
Yeah, it's so good.
GBI Sigma.
Yeah, so the pickup from MrGreeZ in the final escape, that only pickup cannot be progression. And so it's kind of really funny. There's only one single 1EXP pickup that's placed randomly on the map. It's kind of an homage to the one arrow pickup in the ALTTP randomizer. But ooh, MrGreeZ not having double jump, having a little bit of difficulty getting through that elemental room. Takes a death, but by no stretch of the imagination is that a setback. But a couple more of those Grim, and Lack is going to be able to make his way to the final escape.
Well, the other thing to recall, which you did mention just a moment ago, is Lack can do grenade jumps and MrGreeZ can't. That won't matter. It won't be enough of a time save unless MrGreeZ dies a time or two, and Lack, for his part, really needs a faster warp. But, I mean, with this, MrGreeZ is already in the clean water, getting out the other side. He'll be able to use Charge Jump to despawn Kuro. We're almost done.
Nice. Yeah, and he didn't spawn Kuro there, so he can take all the time he needs. He has plenty of health just in case he gets popped by a rock. And he makes it over the line, and definitely Lack is way over like 40 seconds from being able to finish out his seed. So MrGreeZ is definitely going to be walking away with a win here. Really, really nice performance by him.
That was a close one, honestly. Like for a long time, that seed was close.
Yeah, it was kind of insane. It took like over 30 minutes for MrGreeZ to be able to find that next skill, which was Charge Jump, which really got him some just extra padding for the ease and efficiency of verticality. And then as we saw, the really two big pickups or three pickups even that came into play was Glide as well as Dash and Wall Jump, which ended up coming in Death Gauntlet and then lower left Moon Grotto. And so just putting off those areas for the seed is an interesting routing decision. I can't wait to pick MrGreeZ's brain about this, but then also Lack of the Ops to join us for an interview.
I have to say, I want to like attach a heart rate monitor to the wrist of every single runner, because MrGreeZ might be really, really scared. He's like, oh god, I'm holding right. Lack is going to finish second before me. I mean, he's not going to, but oh god, it can be so scary.
Yeah. Because of course each runner cannot watch their opponent as they're progressing through, but ooh, Lack takes some damage. Putting up through the room. All right, and with Clean Water, the last thing he has to be worried about is the Sigma rocks in the final room.
MrGreeZ finishing up with a final time of 1 hour 27 seconds and 67 other numbers tacked onto the end for some reason. Who cares about those little baby numbers? They're so small. Lack, meanwhile, made it through the poison swim. No damage yet. Not going for grenade jump. It's just going to finish out.
GG, Lack. Yeah, nicely done. I like that decision. Like, if maybe you're not comfortable with that grenade jump there's always a chance to soft lock and then have to do the entire final escape over again. And so maybe just Lack saying, I want to finish this seed, and he's out.
I believe the soft lock is what we refer to as a feels bad man. Yeah, GG though. Lack will be finished shortly. I do see MrGreeZ in our on deck channel, so I'll be pulling him in for once Lack is finished, and Lack can also chat with us if he decides to.
All right, yeah, I'm excited to hear from MrGreeZ. I do see MrGreeZ on deck, so he's definitely going to be joining us. But we'll of course extend the invitation to Lack and see if he ends up deciding. But no pressure either way.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and this race actually ended up coming down to the wire, Grim. Like, coming within just over a minute of each other's times is really insane to see, especially in these longer seeds where you can just get randoed the heck out of it.
I mean, it's pretty much the water vein. If if GreeZ had not found the water vein when he did, if he had forgotten about it and gone to, I don't know, Spider Sack or something like that, yeah, this could have been a very different story.
Like Alt-Art to check the 4 energy door swim or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, there we go. Lack is going to be finishing with a finish time of 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 1 second. Going to be taking a loss here today, but that only dips him down to 0-2, and he still has 3 potential chances. If he pulls out 3 wins in a row, he's going to be able to make it onto brackets. But GreeZ definitely going to be breathing a sigh of relief here. Pulling a win out today was really, really huge for him. Going up 1-1 into round 3 of the Swiss.
We will get a chance to talk to him momentarily. And actually, yeah, I wanna ping these guys. I don't like to pull people in unexpectedly. Okay, there's Lack in the on deck channel. So let's go ahead and get this interview started in just a moment.
All right.
Hey guys. Both GreeZ and Lack, welcome.
GG guys. I feel like that sigh completely encapsulated the feels of this scene. So talk a bit about this. There was kind of the frantic search in all of the odd locations of logic that could stick progression, stick that grenade pickup after that Bash Swamp TP opener. So did you know all of those locations that you were checking first degrees were in the logic? Or is this just kind of something that you had to solve for yourself as you were starting the scene?
To be honest, I forgot that there was this pickup. I was going for the HP cell and the XP, and then I saw the pool, and I was like, oh, right, there is a pickup down there. And then I found grenade, and I realized that the seed was finally open.
Wow, that's amazing.
On the topic of Bash Grenade specifically, I want to actually ask both of you, starting with you, GreeZ, what's your familiarity with Bash Grenade? Like, how comfortable do you feel with that?
I feel like it's not that bad. Like, for the movements, I'm okay, but I feel like I don't really know the logic really well. I probably should have gone to Grotto way earlier, because I wasn't even assuming that it was in the logic with only Bash Grenade, so I was hoping for some more interactions. So yeah,
sure.
not really familiar.
Yeah, that was interesting. And so I guess kind of also looking into the late game, GreeZ, how did you feel when you found Water Vein in that plant right there, which was close to where you found Grenade at the beginning of the sea? Was that kind of like a moment of dread for you, or did you feel confident that you're going to be able to close out the win for today?
Actually, I was going for the 4 energy door in Death Gauntlet, so I just went past Iceless and I saw that plant today. Oh right, I forgot to break that. And then I found Water Vein.
Oh man.
Well, it worked out. It worked out.
Yeah.
One more question for you, GreeZ. Is what was your decision making? You went to Sorrow Pass and you got to the Jump Tree, but you didn't full clear Sorrow even though you knew the Sunstone was in there. Why did you make that decision?
Actually, I totally forgot my clue. Like, I was going... I spent like 40 minutes, maybe not 40, but like 20, 30 minutes clearing. So I was just, okay, let's just get the trees and then start looking for keys afterwards. But yeah, I realized afterwards, like, oh, I should have cleared it, right?
Yeah, I think I speak for every rando player when I say, yep, I get that.
Yeah, for sure. But I am all good, dude. GreeZ, congratulations on the win. Grim, do you have any final questions before we start getting ready for the next matches?
No, I think I'm good. I just want to say congrats and good luck on whoever you end up facing in the next round of 1-1.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for commentating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you. Very exciting match. All right, but that being said, folks, we have some really exciting matches that are going to be coming up in just 20 minutes from now. At 4 p.m. Eastern, on this channel is going to be none other than Luster versus Meat Shield, and I will be staying on for commentary for that one and joined by Gecko. And then also at 4 p.m. on the Speed Gaming primary channel is going to be none other than Oosh versus Clean, and that's going to be commentated by Sigma and Shed. But Grim, thanks for joining me on commentary, and also shoutouts to Meldon for the restreaming, as well as Didu and Tasnoop for helping us in behind the scenes in the truck. But Grim, thanks, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude. Hope we get to do it again soon.
Yeah. So stay tuned, folks. Both on Speed Gaming 2 and Speed Gaming. Just open both of those channels, and we'll see you in 20 minutes with the next randomizer matches.